Okay, yeah. The recording started now. Okay, perfect. So just recapping everything again, we are doing this extra session of today um, just for those students who has the issue with ACLs, and mainly with the part where you probably have issue editing it, right? If you put a wrong entry, how to basically troubleshoot it. Okay, simply put. So that if you have the same issue in the exam, you can you know how to troubleshoot it basically. So I'll go through the basic concept first, knowing that you already have some concepts, but there are a few things which I want to reiterate. Okay. So I hope you guys can hear me properly. Fine. Let's start with the first slide I have here. Yeah, you know, there are two types of ACLs, right? Standard and extended, correct? So the standard one is very simple one. You don't have much option there. And in this example, what we are doing is you should know where you should place your standard ACL. Okay, the main difference between a standard and ACL, except that it has more control and more options, and you can you know, customize this extended one. The one more difference is where to place it. Okay, that is a common misconception among students as well as you know, I'm a student as well. So um, that thing which I want to point out here is if it is a standard ACL, okay, you don't have an option of choosing your destination, correct? So you should place the standard ACL as close as possible to your destination. Okay. If it is an extended ACL where you have more control of, you know, the source and the destination both, you should place that ACL as close as possible to the source. Okay. Having said that, this is an option where we have just a scenario. An administrator wants to prevent traffic which is originating from 10 network. Okay, the traffic originating from 10 network, we want to prevent it to reach to 30 network. Okay, we can safely call it 30 network and this a 10 network, right? We don't have to say the whole IP address. So if you look at this topology, what does that mean? That means that the network on the left side, the leftmost on S1, okay, any traffic originating from here, we want that to be prevented. You know, we want it to prevent to be entered in this network basically. So anything from 10 to 30 should be prevented, right? It's a one way. Okay, that way. So there are maybe, if you understand that it's a standard one and you have to place the standard ACL as close as possible to the destination, you would be putting it on R3, right? But on top of that, you have to choose one of the interfaces, correct? I hope nobody will choose gigabit 01, right? That is totally out of scope. You might choose serial 01, but if you put it there, you will be blocking everything for 31 network as well. So the best option is to put it on gigabit 00. That would be the closest, right? So having said that, I hope this makes sense to you. So if an ACL is a standard one, put it as close as possible to the destination. And obviously we'll be putting it into the outward direction because we can put one ACL per interface per direction. Remember that, okay? So if you're putting this ACL on gigabit 00, it should be on the outward direction, and that should be it. That should do the job. Okay, next type of ACL you come across a lot is extended, which we honestly use a lot because, you know, of the flexibility it gives us, the control which it gives us. And just going through this typical scenario, and my explanation of why we should be putting it as close as possible to the source, okay, as compared to the standard one. Here, what the administrator wants is he wants to deny all the telnet traffic and FTP from 11 network to 30 network. Okay, so our 11 network is this one, S2. Everything on S2 is 11 network, and everything on S3 is 30 network. Correct. So we want to just selectively filter the packets which would contain telnet and FTP. Okay, 22 and 23. Remember, yeah. I hope 23 is telnet, 22 is FTP. I think, yeah. They are their port numbers, right? All the other traffic must be permitted. This is the second most important part. I mean, in this question, second important part as well, right? You don't want to miss on that, because if you remember in ACL, whatever you do, if you create an ACL, even you don't do anything. If you create an ACL and let's suppose you put it on an interface and you haven't put any entry, permit or deny, we all know by default it will be denied all. Okay, it will be deny all, right? And that statement, whether you write it or not, will always be at the end. Okay, so what is ACL? Basically, is the list of access control entries. So you put one entries, two entries, three entries, and you combine them, it becomes an ACL. But the last ACE will always be deny all. Okay, so we were a bit distracted, but what this one is doing is from 11 network to 30 network, we are only blocking telnet and FTP. So where will you put this? Because it's an extended one, we know it should put it as close as possible to the source. So that will be R1. And then obviously between these two, I mean, sorry, I shouldn't be saying obviously, but we have two options here. Either we can put it on S00 or gigabit 01. But if you put on S00, you would be, you would be controlling this traffic as well, which you don't want. Okay. So the best place is gigabit 01, inward direction on R1. And so that is the main concept which you should have. And now coming to the agenda of today's, this extra meeting or whatever, is how to edit an extended or standard ACL, per se. The same method will be applied in both. So editing an extended ACL can be accomplished by two methods. Okay, method 1, and then you have another method 2. Okay, I don't like method 1 because if you're, if you are more comfortable, you would be doing method 2. But let's see. In method 1, what it says is you copy all your file, all your entries onto, let's suppose, Notepad. Okay, and delete the command altogether, which one of you yesterday suggested, right? I think it was Sadia. So that is one way. You delete the ACL altogether. You copy your ACEs. You see, I'm using these two terminologies, ACL and ACE. So you copy your ACEs onto the editor. You delete the ACL entry, and you rearrange it, and you paste it again. This is one way. Okay. The second way, which is why I want, maybe for both of them, which I'm more interested in, is how you can just delete that particular entry, not the whole list. Okay. I hope that makes sense so far. So if you have this idea, we can look at this last slide. Basically, this is actually taken from Cisco itself. So you see, for example, you can relate to this, all of you. For example, in this case, you should always verify your commands with this show access list. Okay. First thing is note this down. You should actually put this in your engineering journal for the final exam, that you can verify the command, the ACLs, by this show access list, right? And once you do that, it gives you all your entries, all your ACLs as well. So you see we have one ACL there by the name of browsing. We have another ACL here by the name of surfing. Okay. And in these two ACLs, we have, in the first one, we have one entry only. In the second one, we have two entries. Okay. And we are assuming that in our ACL surfing, this IP address should be this one. So there is a mistake. Okay. Just like we all had in this lab, right? So if this is a mistake, how would we correct it? So you go to that access list again. Okay. You go to that access list again. Now, in the examples which you have seen in your lab manual, you all have been executing the command directly like this: permit TCP, this is this, right? No, I'm sorry, not like that. You have been executing it actually much lengthier. You have been writing it access list number permit TCP, like that. Another way of doing it is like this: you go to that access list once, you delete that entry only. You see, just that entry, number 10, and then you rewrite it at the same place. Please remember this: the ACLs execute these entries in an order. So it will look at the first one first. If it matches the traffic, if it is true, it will not bother coming to the next one. Okay. So the ones which are below will, they will not be executed. So this is very important. And by default, when we are writing these entries in the labs, we don't give the line numbers, right? Okay, we can call them line numbers there, sequence number, whatever. So we don't give sequence number, we just write them. But the good thing about Cisco entries is they've automatically, number them with a space of 10 between each entries. Why? Because of the same reason which we are facing today. If we have an issue in the future, we don't want to delete everything, because at the back end in the real life you will have something running, right? You just want to tackle that one problem. You want to narrow down your point of failure and just focus on that. So this is what we are doing. So line number 10, sequence number 10, we just want to delete that. Okay, and re-enter it exactly at line number 10 explicitly by mentioning it. So this will place it at number 10, not after. If you don't put number 10, guess where it will come? After 20, right? So it will come at number 30. You can choose 11, 12, 13, yes, all that. If in the future you remember, oh, I have another command which should come here in between them, you don't want to delete all of them, and so what you will do, you will write number 11 or 12 or whatever, in between, whatever number comes, and you continue. You can write it. So you can adjust it later as well. So this is what the second way is, okay, without deleting the whole ACL. And once you do that, you can look at your ACLs again, and it is already corrected here, for example. So we'll follow the same procedure. I just found this slide to be useful in explaining before we do, jump into the practical. So basically, I hope that makes sense, guys. Any questions you have? Okay, so 1020, as I said, is, when we make the entries, we don't write those 1020s, right? We just write permit, deny, permit, whatever. Okay, so Cisco would place their entries and give them the numbers automatically by default. Okay, starting with 10, the next one will be 20, 30, 40. We will have a look at the file which someone sent. I think in our lab there are no name, or I think in our lab exercises there is no name on our ACL. Yeah, there is no name, but I mean, if it says you have to use numbered ACL, you use numbered ACL. Yeah, I'll demonstrate you. Obviously, I'm doing that next. But just as a theory part, if you have any related questions, let me know. So here, this is a numbered ACL. That's fine. But we can put, sorry, this is a named ACL, right? Surfing. You can put number here. And one more important thing, which I'm assuming you guys have an experience of ACL. So the standard ACLs are from 0 to 99. Okay. Number 100. Okay, sorry for then. I'll be as brief as possible. So the standard ACLs, if you can use either numbered or named, right? So the named can be any name, or as far as it follows the naming convention rules, typical ones, you know, no spacings and all that. If it is numbered, it has to be either within the range of 0 to 99 for standard, or 100 onwards for extended. Okay, number 100 would be extended one. So 0 to 99 is standard. I think 0 doesn't apply there, but 1 does. Okay, so just count it at 1 to 99 can be used for standard ACLs. I hope that makes sense. So let's see if we have, what do we have in practical? Any questions, any theoretical part you want a bit of explanation on? All good? So just to recap here, because it's recorded, so you can always go back and see. Maybe, I don't remember what I've said so far. I assumed a certain level of, you know, prereq knowledge from you guys, because you have either network fundamental or RSE. I don't know which background you're coming from, but so we have two kinds of ACLs and two types in both of them. We have extended or standard. In standard ACLs, you don't have any control of the destination. You can only mention the source. In extended, again, you cannot control any protocol. Okay. In extended, you have the control of source, destination, and protocol. All of those. You can mention whatever you want. Any traffic, any IP, any protocol you want to target. The standard one, if you're using the numbers, would be 0 to 99. The extended one would be from 100 onwards. Okay, and we will see that in action now. So the file which was sent to me, I will see where that goes. If I download it, should be the download, right? Yeah. Okay, let me open that. This is by Viral, I think, or Viral.
Yeah, it's viral.
Okay, Viral, good. And just the medium path is fine. No viral, no viral, so Viral. Okay. Let's see, guys. These were your instructions, and you had 120, 100, and 110. Oh, you can't see that? Well, probably why? Because I have shared just this. Let me just share again, okay? This should be the whole desktop. Okay. Now it is the whole desktop. Which I don't know why I didn't need the. Okay. So these were your instructions, right? Okay. Now the problem with most of us was that when we were executing them on, let's suppose R1, I think, right? And I had the part of this putting a password there. I can remove the password, but so now once we are in there, let me get out and see again. If we just want to look at the access list, right? I told you that, remember this command, put it in your list, you know, engineering journal or whatever. Show access list will help you a lot. And here you go. In this case, we have a, you know, this Viral has have two kinds of ACLs. One is standard and one extended. Okay. So in extended one, you see, we can see the sequence numbers 10 to 90 and all these. So if I have my version of it, which I should have opened before so that we don't waste more time, let me just open and see what should be the correct command, right, or the sequence. So we did this in lab 7, and so I'm very fond of using Notepad, so I always put it like this, right? So anyway, I'll just compare on my left screen and see. The first instruction is IP extended ACL. Okay, permit TCP host. I think this is at the wrong place itself, right? That is not the correct place. So the first one was actually, if I remember, was this one was the first one. Yeah, domain, then SMTP, then FTP, then we had HTTPS, and then we had this number 10, right? Okay, so this is a very good example for us to troubleshoot. If any one of you have a question, I would say, just because I can't see you guys, you can, you know, just speak up, okay, please. Could you please expand R1 CLI? Yeah, okay, I'll do that. And in fact, we have probably another way of doing that. Let me just, so let's see if I have, can I extend the font maybe? Okay, hope that is a little bit better, but okay. So this is R1, and this is the current configuration, which is obviously, as I explained, is wrong. This is at the wrong place. Okay. Moreover, in the video, as none of us is perfect, the tutor who was explaining made a slight mistake of using a different IP. Okay. So 3.3 is the correct one. I think that was 1.3 or something, but yeah. In any case, what we are doing here is today removing this ACE and replacing it after 443. Okay. So the best way, the ideal way, there are many ways. The ideal way to do is to go to this extended ACL again, delete this entry, okay, and put it in the middle of 50 and 60. That's what we are going to do. So let's go into this ACL first. So that will be configure terminal, IP access list, number 1 extended 120. Okay. So this is, if I press enter, you see now I'm in extended ACL. Okay. XT, EXT and ACL, that is extended ACL. The one you are using other than this is 10. So if I, let's suppose, just for the sake of argument, come out of this and go to that one, IP access list standard 10. So you see there is a slight difference in the prompts. This is EXT, which confirms that was extended. This is STD, which confirms it is standard. So just very little details, which I'm always curious about, and I hope would help you as well. So let's get back to the extended one, and it's the same number, 120. Perfect. Now, once we are in that extended ACL, what we want to do is, we have this in front of us, we want to delete this. So I will copy this, copy, or even we don't need copy, right? Just write no 10, no number 10. Okay, any command you want to delete, exactly same command, paste it and write a no before this. Okay, I could have done either this or this. It is the same thing. Okay, whether I do this, no permit TCP, or I do a much fancier version of this, no 10. All right, both of them will serve the purpose. Let's verify it. We want to always verify. Remember, don't just copy paste, do it. Sometimes, yes, it happens, funny thing happens. Even if you delete it, you never know. Sometimes the packet tracer is not in the mood. So let's verify it. So since I am in the hierarchy which doesn't allow show command, I'm in the prompt which, show command wouldn't work here, right? If I do show access list, right, it doesn't work. So to enforce it without going back and forth, you just use a do command. Okay, I hope that might be something to learn for a few of you. So you can use do command if you are in a hierarchy above where the do should actually be executed. So once we do the do command, you see now 10 is gone, correct? Always verify it, guys, right? Always verify it. So the verification is there. We have done it. Now what we want, since I have copied it, I want to paste it here after 43 and before this, right? So what we'll do, we can write 51, 52, whatever, I'll just write 51. It doesn't matter. 51 and paste. We want to permit the TCP from this host to this destination. So both are host. Okay, that's fine. And that's what we will do. And let's verify it again. Show, what was that? Do show access list, right? Here you go. It is there now, right at the perfect place. If you don't give the number, what will happen? It will come after 90 as the number 100. Okay, by default, which is what Cisco does, right? Okay. Okay. So now there are two things. One, do exactly as the instruction says to get exact marks, because packet tracer is programmed for that. Okay, which is good. It is not in fact programmed for the line number, so it automatically increase the mark to 100 anyway. So that saves my time of giving you the other idea, but that's good. I don't want to confuse you more. I hope this makes sense. We have done it successfully at the right place. Most of you had the same issue. Obviously, the second idea is you can just copy all of this, copy this, okay? Paste it on your notepad, paste it here. If you had this at the wrong place, you can cut it here, you can put it this place, right? Okay, of course you will not put any numbers here, right? You will get rid of the all of them. You can delete all of them, right? This is another way of doing it. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. And before doing this, you can copy this and remove the whole ACL. Okay, this is another way. You know what I mean? So you can rearrange it, copy this, cut this from example, for example, from here, paste it here, and copy all of it, and go back and delete 120 from the root. Okay, let me do that. And before that, let's just copy this. And let me paste the correct version here so that we are playing with this only. I'm just copying this, right? Copy this, remove the 120 altogether. How will you do that? No IP access list, right? 120. Okay. maybe not at the right place, right? So no IP access list 120. This is where you can do that. Oh, sorry, it is writing my own rules. Extended, right? There you go. Now, if you look at the access list, it should be gone. You have only 10 there, you see? 120 is altogether gone. And then, of course, you can come back, copy. You have already copied this. And one more thing which you can do here is IP access list extended 120. And now you can copy all of this, right? This will happen all one together. Since you are in global configuration mode, you paste all the commands in order, enter them. You see there is no error, all done perfectly. Of course, this is not what this lab requires, so you would not get the marks. Okay, for that, where were the marks? I think they are somewhere here, 95. But you got the point, right? I mean, we are just assuming this is what we wanted to do. So you can always do that. Okay. I hope that makes sense, guys. And we can redo it one more time for those, this one is the correct one now. So I am putting this in the correct order without the line numbers. This to get 100% marks. Copy this, go back, remove it all together. You have to be here. You write no IP. What is that? Sorry. No IP access list extended 120. Okay, done. Just verify no IP access list is there with the name of 120 and paste our new ones. I think I missed something. Yeah, what did I miss? You see, I missed the part which should say IP access list extended 120. Okay. Now it is fine. So just improvise between those things, right? This was how it was shown to us as a configuration. You can't execute that command. I did, and we got the error, right? So we have to just improvise and make some changes, and that should be fine now. As far as it's in the correct order, no problem. You should get full marks. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. I hope that's been helpful. We don't want to, keep this video any much longer. I think it's already longer than I expected it to be. And yeah, have fun, guys, and be safe. Any questions before we end this call? You're welcome, guys. Yeah, you're welcome. That's fine. No problem. Have a nice day then. Thank you. Bye-bye.